Welcome back to the road to Rebirth. This time, I'll be talking about Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom is an American science fiction film directed by J.A. Bayona and written by Derek Connolly and Colin Trevorrow. The film was released on June 22, 2018 and was produced by Universal Pictures and Amblin Entertainment. With a production cost of $432 million, Fallen Kingdom ranks as the second most expensive film ever created, right after The Force Awakens. The movie earned over $1.3 billion globally, becoming the third Jurassic film to exceed the billion-dollar milestone. It was the third highest grossing film of 2018, following Black Panther and Avengers Infinity War, as well as the 12th highest grossing movie of all time as of this upload. However, the film's reception wasn't too stellar. I think the negative response to this film is overblown. I admit the film has issues, but making out like the worst thing ever? This film came out the same year as The Predator and Slender Man. If you don't like the film, that's perfectly fine. But please hear me out and stick around for the segment where I debunk some faulty criticism and provide better criticism before sharing my rating. 3 years after the first Jurassic World movie, Isla Nublar stands abandoned. The island's previously inactive volcano, Mount Sibo, has become active, leading Owen and Claire to organize a mission to save the surviving dinosaurs from this catastrophic event. However, they discover that the mercenaries they teamed up with have ulterior motives in bringing them to the mainland. Unlike the first World movie, Fallen Kingdom has a darker tone and sometimes goes into horror territory. This shift is a refreshing change, as the franchise tends to excel in its scarier moments. The opening scene is arguably the best in the series. However, the film sometimes feels overloaded, making it seem unfocused. The film would have benefited with a longer runtime, or being split in two to sort things out. The film offers some emotional scenes, the most powerful being the Brachiosaurus death scene. That scene hits even harder with the confirmation it's the same one from the first movie. The movie truly shines in its ending, which introduces dinosaurs to the mainland, a concept the late Michael Crichton wanted the films to explore, even ending the novels on. If only Dominion had focused on dinosaurs in the mainland instead. But at least we have Battle at Big Rock and Chaos Theory. The film offers a wide variety of dinosaurs that would only be surpassed by Dominion. Seeing the new species Allosaurus, Baryonyx, Carnotaurus, Sinoceratops, and Stygimoloch is nice. Rexy returns and she shines in a few scenes, most notably the opening and the scene where Claire and Owen have to get a blood sample from her. Blue returns as well, being the only surviving member of the Raptor Squad. A highlight of the series is her relationship with Owen. She ultimately decides to go her own way. Then there's the hybrid, the Indoraptor. Following the footsteps of the Indominus Rex, he is designed as a weapon. While the I-Rex symbolizes the dangers of capitalism, the Indoraptor embodies the dark side of genetic power. His design is distinct, drawing inspiration from various horror monsters. And yes, the Indoraptor is a male. He was made with the rib bone of a female hybrid. It's the reverse of Adam and Eve. Despite my admiration for the Indoraptor, I feel the movie underutilized him. Like the plot point of the Indoraptor seeking revenge on the handlers who abused him, would have been a great addition. A deleted scene also introduced the Indoraptor playing with a human skull in the shadows of its cage. It would be revealed that the light bulb went out when the Indoraptor was supposedly tranquilized, and killed the worker who was replacing the light bulb. This sequence would have also revealed it took 3 darts to sedate the Indoraptor. Had the scene been included, it would have foreshadowed Wheatley's demise. Once again, the dinosaurs are brought to life through CGI, and they look much better than in the last film. Although I'm not crazy about the juvenile Allosaurus design. Thankfully, the adult design shown later looks much better. Also, while I was not as bothered by the Baryonyx design as some were, I prefer the 2015 Jurassic World website design. Another highlight is that more practical effects were used, notably animatronics for Rexy, Blue, and the Indoraptor. They look good. Owen Grady and Claire Dearing from the first Jurassic World movie return, once again played by Chris Pratt and Bryce Dallas Howard respectively. I like how Claire was more involved in this film. I saw people draw a comparison between her and John Hammond shifting from business people to environmentalists, and I agree. The film introduces many new characters. First is Zia Rodriguez, played by Daniela Pineda. She is a former Marine now serving as the Dinosaur Productions Group Paleo veteran. Honestly, I think Zia is one of the more underrated characters. Despite her stubborn and short-tempered nature, she is passionate about what she cares about. It's a shame the franchise did her dirty. There was also a deleted scene that revealed she was a lesbian. Franklin Webb, played by Justice Smith, is a former IT technician for Jurassic World who is now working as the Dinosaur Production Group's system analysis and hacker. I know people take issue with him, but I feel the hate is overblown. Let's be honest. We'd be probably screaming if we were in his situation. Sir Benjamin Lockwood, played by James Cromwell, is John Hammond's former partner in developing the technology to clone dinosaurs. This character is based on Norman Atherton from the book. Norman Atherton was briefly mentioned in one chapter. He was InGen's chief geneticist in the early years and Henry Wu's mentor. In the novel, Norman Atherton created a clone of a dwarf elephant to demonstrate InGen's capabilities to potential investors, a display facilitated by John Hammond. Unfortunately, Norman passed away due to heart cancer before InGen began its dinosaur cloning efforts. As for why Hammond never mentioned Lockwood in the first movie, it's common for people to avoid discussing past business relations. Macy Lockwood, played by Isabella Sermon, is the cloned daughter of the late Charlotte Lockwood and the granddaughter of the late Benjamin Lockwood. I find her to be a fascinating character with a unique background. Additionally, her existence raises important moral questions about whether dinosaurs and other animals deserve the same rights as living animals, extending the debate and ethical implications of human cloning as well. Given that this is a universe where dinosaurs, which lack genetic material, are brought back to life, the concept of human cloning isn't far-fetched. However, human cloning should not be pursued any further. Eli Mills, played by Rafe Spall, is Lockwood's assistant who recruits Owen and Claire to rescue the dinosaurs. However, he really intended to sell the dinosaurs to the highest bidders and back the creation of the Indoraptor. Mills doesn't get the credit he deserves as a villain. Instead of defending his behavior by asserting his moral righteousness, Mills admits and recognizes his actions could be viewed as evil, and he is not afraid to get his hands dirty. He is the first human in the franchise to kill another human.
You know, I've been thinking. John Hammond was right. It was an unholy thing that you did. I'm not the only guilty one here, am I, sir?
Ken Wheatley, played by Ted Levine, is a merc who commands the rescue operation of Isla Nublar, only to stab Owen and Claire in the back. He is cruel, greedy, and has a hobby of collecting teeth from dinosaurs he captured. He is the kind of character you love to hate, making his demise all the better. Dr. Henry Wu, played by B.D. Wong, returns once again. His love for science and his ego motivated him, but he disregards the human suffering that results because he thinks he's seen the bigger picture. Ian Malcolm returns, once again played by Jeff Goldblum. While his screen time is brief, what he says is impactful. A lot of what he says in Fallen Kingdom is from the book by Michael Crichton.
I'm talking about man-made cataclysmic change.
What kind of change?
Change is like death. You don't know what it looks like until you're standing at the gates.
Other characters include Iris, played by Charlie Chaplin's daughter, Geraldine Chaplin, the Lockwood estate housekeeper, and Macy's nanny, and the protector of the Lockwood family secrets, and Gunnar Eversole, played by Toby Jones, an auctioneer hosting at the Lockwood estate. Before I share my rating, I'd like to debunk the faulty criticism this movie has received. The lagoon's location has been retconned. The lagoon remains unchanged at the center of the island. However, the maps depicting the lagoon without water canals leading to the lake and those next to the ocean are inaccurate. Colin Trevorrow has confirmed this and apologized for the error. Before Jurassic World, official and fan-made maps of Isla Nublar included water canals extending to the ocean. The lagoon featured in Jurassic World is man-made. Park workers likely lured the Morosaurus into the canals for maintenance purposes. It's also important to note that the crew retrieving the sample believed the Mosasaurus was dead.
Relax. Anything in here'd be dead by now.
so they didn't see the need to close the gate. The volcano came out of nowhere. The volcano has always been part of Jurassic Park lore. It was present in Michael Crichton's original novel and has been referenced extensively in other Jurassic Park media, including video games that feature levels set there. So why build a park on an island with a volcano? At the time of acquisition, the volcano was inactive and served as a source of geothermal energy, as mentioned in tie-in materials and within the film universe. As for why the volcano became active later on, this is a common phenomenon. The Camp Cretaceous episode, The Core, offers a possible explanation for its activation when the geothermal power core started overloading under Manticore Island, causing seismic tremors that traversed to Isla Nublar. Side note, Mount Sibo is a stratovolcano, characterized by its steep canonical shape and layered structure, which is formed by alternating layers of lava flows, volcanic ash, and other eruptive materials. Why save the dinosaurs? They are dangerous and kill people. Because dinosaurs are animals. They're not like xenomorphs or zombies. There are tons of dangerous animals, yet there are movements that aim to save them from extinction. The Birdman said it best when he debunked CinemaSins.
There are countless animals on this planet that have the ability to kill all the humans, and we put a ton of them in zoos for children to go and see. Do you want to see all the tigers, polar bears, and orcas go extinct too? Because fuck you.
Suggesting all the dinosaurs should die is akin to arguing that all the dragons in How to Train Your Dragon should die, or that all the wolves should be eliminated in Wolfwalkers. They could have just taken the dinosaurs to Isla Sorna. They couldn't because of another volcano. Isla Nublar and Sorna are part of an archipelago that has volcanic activity. Like Isla Nublar, Isla Sorna is powered by geothermal energy. Transporting the dinosaurs there would be pointless, as it would be only a matter of time before another eruption occurred. Zia Rodriguez can't be a paleo vet if she has never seen a dinosaur in person. Doctors don't automatically heal their patients. They study and train just like anyone in a major field of study. Just because Zia has never seen a dinosaur in person doesn't mean she hasn't studied veterinary medicine. I don't see anyone complain about Dr. Sadler trying to understand why the Triceratops was sick in the first movie, or about Sarah and Nick treating Junior's broken leg. Owen shouldn't have survived the pyroclastic flow. This scene was certainly over the top. However, this is a franchise where the characters survived the following. This situation reminds me of the criticism aimed at Indiana Jones in the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, specifically the scene where Indy survives a nuclear explosion by hiding in a fridge. People pointed out that he had previously endured clinging to a submarine underwater and using a raft as a parachute. The thing is that characters in movies, shows, and games can survive scenarios that would be impossible in real life.
Clear! Ah, damn it! You're shocking me! Oh, hell. I'm back here.
Owen shouldn't have been able to shoot through the bulletproof glass. Bulletproof is not an entirely accurate term. A better term is bullet resistant. In Jimmy Fallon's demonstration, the glass doesn't deflect the bullet, it stops it. Also, there is a chance the video in Jurassic World was exaggerated for comedic effect. It's also worth noting that this gyrosphere was left out in the open for years, with the glass weakened from natural elements, and was shot at point-blank range. The crew should have recognized Owen, Claire, and Franklin. Not everyone was involved in the assassination plot. Also, this is a big crowd. You can't keep up with everyone. You can't do a blood fusion with a T-Rex and a Velociraptor. Actually, speaking hypothetically, you could. Someone even wrote an article on this. It's called xenotransfusion. It's been successfully performed on real animals. However, it's often done as a last resort and can only be done once, as it's too risky to do it again due to red blood cells breaking down and allergic reactions. But in universe, was Rexy the best choice? Yes! There were other species they could have used, but the T-Rex was the best choice because they needed blood, and Rexy had more than enough. Lockwood should have been able to find out what was happening in the lab. Lockwood designed this lab, an underground facility, to be soundproof so the dinosaurs couldn't be heard. He is unaware of the dinosaurs hidden under his nose. He built the place to do just that, and Mills exploited that. Later, Lockwood was also aware the dinosaurs were brought to his house, so he called Mills. The prices for the dinosaurs are too low. Auctions typically start with lower priced items, then progress to higher priced ones. Like, let's say, a T-Rex. The villains are greedy cartoon characters. First, I recall this happening with the villain from the first movie. Second, villains in this franchise were always motivated by greed, and I can think of countless villains motivated by greed outside of Jurassic that I don't hear people complain about. Greed is one of the 7 deadly sins, and a look at real-life events reveals the negative consequences that have resulted from it. How is it that big dinosaurs can't break out of their cages, but the small Stiggy mullet can break out? The large dinosaurs don't have much space to move, but Stiggy does. She just needed some proper motivation. Side note, Sticky Mullock is believed to be a nomen dubium, which translates to doubtful name. Nomen dubiums occur when a species' validity is difficult to determine or doubtful. This usually occurs when specimens utilized to define the name go missing, have been damaged, mixed up with another species, or when the initial description is inadequate for proper identification. Some nomen dubiums include Monoclonius, Gojirasaurus, Dakotaraptor, and Titanosaurus, the last of which is set to appear in Rebirth. In Stiggy Mullock's case, it is believed to be a subadult Pachycephalosaurus. It's also worth noting another species, Dracorex, is believed to be a juvenile Pachycephalosaurus. Laser-guided dinosaurs are stupid, just use a gun. First, it was clear that this Indoraptor was a prototype, it wasn't the final product. Second, Dominion and Chaos Theory showed how the laser worked with the Atrociraptors. Third, there are also long-range targets to consider. I came across an insightful article that explained how laser sights are used in mid-range combat and are not ideal for long-range combat because the laser does not align with the bullet's trajectory at long distances. Sending a dinosaur after someone instead of shooting them has its perks. People will assume it was just an attack and not foul play. This leads us to weaponizing dinosaurs is a stupid idea. Dinosaurs are all suited for combat. Last I checked, dinosaurs are equipped with hardware for killing and defense. Also, this is what the dinosaurs have done in the field of battle in this franchise. Furthermore, as Mills pointed out, man has utilized animals in combat since the dawn of time.
If the entire run of our sorry history has taught us one irrevocable lesson, it's that man is inevitably drawn to war and is willing to use any means necessary to win it.
You're gonna weaponize them?
We've been using animals in combat for centuries. Horses, elephants. The Soviets used disease-bearing rats against the Germans at Stalingrad.
Yes, yes.
Of course, people would capitalize on dinosaurs in combat roles. While weaponizing the dinosaurs has its benefits, it is ultimately a bad idea. Not because of impracticality, but that there is a high risk it would backfire. Similar to why weaponizing xenomorphs in Aliens and mutants in X-Men are also bad ideas. Macy's set the dinosaurs free. She doomed the planet. I'll refer to this clip I did when I did a video defending her. Let's put things into perspective. Macy had her grandfather murdered, her caretaker dismissed, and her only remaining guardian wants to exploit her for being a clone. Macy went through more stress than a kid could handle in one night, so she sympathized with the dinosaur, the result of cloning, like her, and acted on an impulse. Of course, people are forgetting another important thing. Macy wasn't the one who brought the dinosaurs into the mainland, murdered a defenseless old man, hosted an illegal auction, distributed the dinosaurs worldwide, and tried to sell a mentally unstable prototype hybrid. But you know who did all of the above? This guy. Eli Mills. Also that idiot that shot the tanks releasing the gas holds a good deal of the blame too. But no, let's blame everything on this confused, traumatized girl instead of the man who has committed actual crimes. Okay then, let's play a game of applying that logic in these cases. It was all Link's fault that he drew the Master Sword, enabling Ganondorf entry to the Sacred Realm and taking over Hyrule for 7 years. It was all Mr. Incredible's fault. He talked down to Buddy Pine, causing him to become a genocidal supervillain. It was all Aang's fault that he ran away from becoming the Avatar and got frozen, allowing the Fire Nation to take over. It was all Dr. Serizawa's fault. He made a heroic sacrifice using the Oxygen Destroyer to kill the original Godzilla, leading to the creation of an even worse monster years later. It was all Obi-Wan's fault that he failed Anakin, which led to him to fall to the dark side, which led to the deaths of countless Jedi, and the Empire ruling over for 24 years? I could go on, but blaming everything on Macy is the equivalent of saying it's all these characters' faults. But it's okay. We can forgive a man who killed younglings, ordered the destruction of an entire planet, chopped off his son's arm, threatened to abuse his daughter if his son didn't join the dark side, and other horrible things, all because he threw the Emperor down a shaft and said sorry to his son. That makes everything bad he did a-okay. Another thing that people forget about this scene? More good came from it. Allow me to explain. See, by setting the dinosaurs free, Macy unknowingly destroyed the last Irex DNA sample, and thus stopping the creation of more Indoraptors. Don't know about you, but I would rather be stuck with dinosaurs in the mainland than more Indoraptors. This is something that's called a butterfly effect, a key staple of the franchise. The dinosaurs aren't a threat in the mainland. They can be taken care of easily. Wait a minute. A moment ago you were villainizing Macy, acting like she doomed the world, but now you're suggesting the dinosaurs aren't dangerous on the mainland? Make up your mind! Dealing with dinosaurs on the mainland isn't something that can be easily managed. People suggest that we could arm up and hunt them down. However, law enforcement struggled to contain the rampaging buckwrecks in San Diego, and while the larger dinosaurs can be tracked easily, they were released in a region filled with dense woods and mountains, making it easy for them to hide and spread out. None of the characters contacted the authorities about this situation, and I'm fairly certain the auction attendees won't either unless they want to admit they were involved in black market dealings. The film is just nostalgia pandering. I understand many films have capitalized on nostalgia lately, but I don't believe Fallen Kingdom falls into that category. The film does a lot to differentiate itself from previous movies in the franchise. In fact, each Jurassic film feels unique compared to the others. Regarding to the callbacks to the first movie, it's worth noting that Fallen Kingdom was celebrating the 25th anniversary of the original film, making these references fitting, especially since it was our last time seeing Isla Nublar before its destruction. Unfortunately, the same can't be said about the callbacks in Debunking, but that's for another video. Now that I've debunked the faulty criticism, I'd like to offer more constructive criticism. As I point out, this film has a lot of ideas, and it would have benefited from a longer runtime, or if it had been split in two. Had it done so, the film could have spent more time on Isla Nublar, making its farewell more impactful, and exploring the Indoraptor's abuse. I also wish the film explored whether the dinosaurs deserved the same rights as animals were. We've seen media examine both sides of the coin, including the Jurassic franchise. There was a counter group to the dinosaur protection group called Extinction Now, but was hardly touched upon. Iris's death of the claws of the Indoraptor shouldn't have been cut out. Innocent human deaths add stakes and show that no one is safe, and it would explain her absence. I understand the risk of upsetting Karens and phony male feminists, like what happened last time from Zara's death, but when the Boondocks upset BET, they followed things up by upsetting Tyler Perry. When Iron Maiden were falsely accused of being Satanists, they kept making music. so there was no reason to bend the knee to whiners. Out of all the nitpicking I've seen, I don't see people bring up the key left in Macy's room. Who left it there? It wasn't Nils. And if it was Iris, how did she? Lastly, the Indoraptor should have been named Indomoraptor. The reason for that is because the name actually means Indian thief, whereas Indomoraptor actually means untamable thief. Just wanted to point that out. While rough around the edges, Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom offers innovation and takes risks by bringing the dinosaurs to the mainland, which unfortunately, the next installment didn't commit to. On my rating scale, I'm going to give Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom 3.5 stars. So that is my review of Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. Before I review Jurassic World Dominion, I'm going to review the short film Battle at Big Rock. See you soon!